say today. Are you blown away by things like that, like you just described? How are you holding up? Really, is what I wanted to ask you. Are you doing okay?
Well, I'm surprised and I'm saddened, and yeah, once in a while I get very depressed about the situation and the fact that so many people's kids could be getting sick from this, and it's preventable. You can mitigate a lot of this.
Right.
And it just kind of pushes me to work harder in trying to spread the word to people. I mean, coming on the radio and talking to people about a subject that I have no formal training in whatsoever is way outside of my comfort zone. But since Fukushima, and because I'm on a medical leave, I've had time to do a lot of reading, and it helps keep my mind off my back and my medical problems. I've probably read 3,000 articles about what's going on in research papers, and just try to educate myself. And you know, you don't have to be a physicist to understand this stuff. Radiation makes people sick, and we know how it works. We studied it for 25 years from Chernobyl. I mean, this is not a new science.
Well, yeah, radiation kills people. That's why they made nuclear bombs. So what? I mean, oh God, it's just you start wrapping your head around it, and you know what I'm talking about. I don't know. The reason I ask you that is because, look, you said you know it's way outside your comfort zone because you have no formal training. Well, unfortunately, people with formal training probably had a lot of debt on their hands from a lot of formal schooling, and they're probably working in formal industries, and they will probably lose their formal jobs if they decide to speak out on this. So I usually trust people who don't have a formal education in something. Because, I mean, let's be honest. Everybody be honest with themselves about the education system. It's a load of shit. Okay? It is. It's a load of crap, and it's a compartmentalized system, and we all know who invented its structure, and we all know who gives it its funding. So, you know, let's not really. I don't really put a lot of credibility into being formally educated or holding a degree in this or a doctorate in that. I'm sorry, because I've interviewed a NASA rocket scientist, and the guy was one of the most dumbed down people I've ever met in my life. And I'm not kidding you. And so what can I say? It's just my own personal experience. So you know, people like you know, you have no ulterior motive. What is it? I mean, you're not.
No, I have no agenda. I don't make any money from doing this. I don't have any financial interest in any of the products or anything that I recommend for mitigation. And I've actually been had people ask to donate money for me to do this, and I've turned them down because I don't want that to cloud the reason why I'm doing this.
Well, listen, okay? You know, unfortunately, we need worthless paper to exist in this matrix right now, okay? So if you ever get to the point where you're not going to be able to continue, you know, getting this information out there, and you need money, take it. Look, I'm hawking T-shirts for $20 donations. You send a $20 donation into the show on our website, frontradio.net, shameless plug, and you know, you get a T-shirt for that. I would much rather give my T-shirts away to help spread the word, but the truth of the matter is, you know, I pay to do this program and everything that goes along with it, and I'm out of a job right now, and I don't have the money to keep going. So I hate to ask, but, you know, if anybody thinks that someone like you or someone like me is going to be compromised because I'm selling a T-shirt for $20, well, you know what? I mean, we can compare who has more to lose and who's more compromised, me and you or the guys that work for the system. You know, I mean, just rationalize to yourself, people. You know, don't ever feel bad about that, Christina, because, you know, you're doing good work, and if you need the work, need money in order to keep doing this work, I mean, take it. Take it. You know, anybody with their head.
As long as I can do it without, I'm going to try to do it that way. And,
right.
You know, a lot of people are in the same boat that are paying attention to this because we're all unemployed and we're all online. And we're, you know, reading and studying and talking to others. Yeah. And none of us have any money to do any research.
Right. Big mistake, New world order, putting us all on unemployment. Now we have way too much time on our hands to research the wrongs.
The other thing you and I need to talk about, because we've got the inside scoop on this, is that if things continue the way they are, you know, the pot smokers are going to inherit the earth. And there's a few reasons for that. And a lot of people aren't aware of the research and studies that have shown that marijuana not only cures cancer, but can prevent it.
You are good. You segued for me. I like that. Okay, continue.
And I had to renew my card a week ago, and I had a long talk with the doctor that I see.
What card is that?
You know, the Michigan Medical Marijuana Program. I am a registered patient, and I've been for 3 years. And when I first hurt my back, I was at the most I was taking 13 different medications. They weren't all for my back. You know, after taking pain pills and so forth, you know, eventually your stomach lining starts to develop problems, so you need stomach meds, and then you feel so crappy all the time, then you need stuff for depression, and, you know, it goes on and on. You start having side effects from all these other things that are treating you, and since I've got my card and started using medical marijuana to treat my back injury, I've been able to get down to 3 medicines. And when I talked to my doctor about this, you know, I said to him, with this Fukushima situation, every single person in the country right now should be working marijuana into their diet because of its preventative and curative abilities. And there's been research that's been done in our country. Of course, it's been covered up. It's not been promoted except by organizations like NORML, that, you know, marijuana has these abilities. There's a Harvard study that's been done, and I put some of these links on your Facebook page earlier, showing that marijuana has been clinically proven to reduce tumors in mice and in rats. There was a study that was done, this very famous pulmonary specialist, Dr. Tasher, I believe is his name, was given a huge research grant by the National Institutes of Health back in early 2000 because they wanted to show how dangerous marijuana was in comparison to tobacco smokers. And what that study showed is that the people who smoked marijuana had less incidence of cancer. You know, while we still have access to the internet and a lot of these articles, look them up because the feds are constantly trying to tinker with our Freedom of Information Act and trying to hide this kind of stuff from us. And the other thing is that marijuana has been proven to be actually beneficial to children. And there was a huge study that was done in Jamaica in 2004 called the Jamaican Baby Study, where they had, and as you know, Jamaica, it's part of their culture and their religion to use cannabis. And they had 2 groups of pregnant women that they followed. One smoked pot throughout their pregnancy, and the other group didn't. And the babies that were born to the pot-smoking mothers actually outscored the babies born to the non-pot-smoking mothers in every category. You know, our bodies are made to accept endocannabinoids. We have little plug-in receptors not only in our brain, but in our lungs, in our stomach, in our intestines, and in our kidneys. It's nature's medicine. And because of the, you know, pharmaceutical industry, they have heavily promoted what a horrible and dangerous drug marijuana is, because basically if everybody smoked pot, they would feel a lot better and they wouldn't go to the doctor as much.
Yes.
And that's why it's illegal.
That is true. That is why it's illegal, and it's also illegal because, you know, because of the whole hemp thing, industrial hemp. I mean, you know, like you said, our bodies have cannabinoid receptors all throughout it. You know, we're supposed to use this. You know, us and cannabis go together. You know, like peanut butter and chocolate, pretty good. You know, so which is delicious after you've had some.
And you know, regardless of how you feel about marijuana, the Fukushima situation and the radiation and the potential effects to your health warrant everyone taking a look at this. And we only have a few studies over here, but there's been 20,000 studies that have been done in Europe that show how beneficial it is as a medicine. And in fact, a lot of European countries right now are legalizing. Sweden, for one, just recently said that every resident of Sweden can grow up to 10 plants a year. And I really think that the countries that have socialized medicine are on top of this because they're going to bear the brunt of the healthcare costs when their people get sick from the radiation. So they're taking steps right now to let people start treating themselves. And that's what needs to happen here. And Ron Paul has already said that he would legalize it if he became president.
Yeah.
You know, he's a doctor. He understands the benefits. Obama had said he wasn't going to go after patients. He was discouraging the DEA from going after patients. But that hasn't happened at all. In fact, in Michigan, they have attacked patients. It's just unreal.
What?
It's just unreal what they've done to patients here who have cards.
You're trying to tell me that Obama has not followed through on something?
No.
Oh my God.
And I think that was the reason a lot of people voted for him. A lot of younger people voted for him because he had such a realistic approach to it, and it seemed like he understood.
Well, let's not kid ourselves. People voted for him because he was a slick marketing tool, and we are all so sick of George Bush we could probably stab our own eyes out if we had one more old white guy warmongering up there. So here comes slick, young, energetic Barry, swishing around up on the stage, big old smile, telling us exactly what we want to hear, talking your pants right off you. I mean, he was a perfect marketing tool, and the guy's been, let's drop the marketing and we can just say tool.
Yeah, Michigan's been some really some very sad stories, things that have happened to patients here who are following the rules. I got caught up in that myself a couple years ago when I first hurt my back and my employers canceled my insurance. I went for 2 years without any income. And buying 13 different medications every month. I was selling stuff on Craigslist just to get the money to do that. And someone had given me some seeds, and I grew 2 plants. One I fertilized with compost heavily, and the other one I did nothing, just to see. So when I got my card, when I was able to get enough money together to get the card, I could start growing, and I would know what I was doing, and I would have a better understanding of how to grow better medicine. And I also knew we had something called the affirmative defense, which is supposed to protect people who have a verifiable illness if they don't have money to get a card. And that didn't work for me. When I got caught, I had 6 conditions that would have qualified me as a patient. The prosecutor's office wouldn't even look at my medical records. And the news story kind of blew up a little bit. It was a slow news day, and the story actually ended up going nationwide for a while. So they really wanted to make an example of the situation, and it was very unfortunate. It was extremely damaging to my whole family, and I had all the conditions. I researched it heavily before I did it. I was desperate for alleviation of my pain, and now, I mean, the situation they put me in, I actually got a felony for having 2 plants. So even if my back condition completely resolved itself, I would be forced to perpetuate this back condition so I could stay on disability. Because I can't get hired by anybody with a felony until it gets expunged, which will be for another 3 years. So, I mean, that's this kind of situation that they're putting people in. If you weren't a criminal before, you're almost forced to become one.
Right. Well, and then they have reasons to lock you away if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, I guess they want to make an example out of you. know, and I'm sure there